I'm just gonna, 1 second here, gonna open up our, 1 second, sorry.
No
So
problem.
I'm actually gonna, because we're limited for time, I'm gonna talk for a couple of minutes to explain what we're going to see. I'll share my screen so you can see the, okay. Are you
Hey,
with me?
Tom,
You see
apparently
the-
we just finished on the other account if you want to try to check over there, whatever you think.
Well, if it's just me and Elisheva, then I'm going to feel a little bit less stressed. Let's just stay where we are.
Okay.
And
I'm happy with the time. I gotta get up for work tomorrow.
What?
I
Okay.
What did you say, Alicia?
said I'm happy with the time limit. I have to get up for work tomorrow.
Oh, okay, great.
We'll keep it on the shorter side. Okay. So if you remember last week, we saw the Wiser, and we saw. I shouldn't be wasting my time on this. We saw the Wiser. We saw the Safari and the stuff you saw. You knew that. We talked about Google Docs, right? Okay. So I want to focus on really just 2 things today. And since we're limited in time, I'm just going to cut right to them. So I guess we'll skip the warm up. And then we're going to jump right into our sugya, and we're going to look at the sugya from 2 different angles, if that's okay with you. Elisheva, do feel free to jump in with questions. If there's something that's unclear, I could go on autostrada, but that's chaval. If you don't understand something, so, okay? I will try to keep it, not too fast, but I do want to be able to show the stuff that we have. Okay. So the sugya that we're going to do today is, you're familiar with Ein Katego Nasa Senegar? Have you taught it as well? Are you even teaching it right now?
No, this year I'm actually not teaching Toshba, but I think I taught it last year.
Okay. So it's probably even better then, because that way, you'll be dealing with a sugya that's familiar to you, and so then the tools will be the ikar, and because the tochen you already have. So I have up here, I put in the link to Safaria. We don't need to look at that right now, although I'm going to just open it, just so that, and I know that Shani is going to has sent you the links, or sending you the links to everything, just so we can have it available during the course of the learning. We'll come back to it, but if you know it, then that's even better. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is the link in the Safaria. Seder. So what I want to show you, the first tool, again, sorry, I'm cutting right to the chase here. The first tool that I want to focus on is a tool that deals with the issue of images. To what degree, Elisheva, how much would you say that you use images when teaching Gemara?
Images totally depends on the Gemara. Like when I taught shofar, like the difference between the different like shofarot and like twisted, straight, whatever. So that a lot. And I taught Baba Mitzia not so much, I guess.
Okay. So the basic idea that I wanted to share is the sense that using an image not only obviously brings it to life and makes it more, mumchash, but it allows the kids, I think, to expand their imagination. That they begin to think beyond what they would have expected the sugya to be telling them. That's why I put these silly pictures here of, this girl who's just, covered in paint. You could say, the girl played with finger paints, and then you could show this picture and it's 2 different things. You could talk about the creation of the world, and you could put some of these brilliant satellite photos, and you get a very different feeling when you think about the idea. So I want to show you one tool, which, have you ever heard of ThingLink? Okay. So this is actually something which Smadar, who's the head of JETS, showed me. The idea of ThingLink is almost brilliant in its simplicity. It's extraordinarily simple to do it in its basic level. You obviously can l'shadreg get all kinds of whatever, but in its simplest level, what you do is that you upload pictures, and then you can begin to put little markers on those pictures, begin to think about it in different ways. So for example, if you remember the Mishnah from that Ein Katego Nasa Senegar is based on. So if you haven't thought about it in a year, so let me just second. No, there we go.
Right there, right on the right hand side.
Right there?
Go to the right.
You want the Safari? Yeah.
Where'd Safari go?
Yeah, it's like
right next to the thing link.
Current
Right
tab, yes.
The samach.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we look, excuse me. If you look at the Mishnah, right? So go for it, Elisheva.
What?
Go. Why don't you just read the Mishnah quickly?
כל השופרות כשהם חוץ משל פרה מפני שהוא קרן. אמר רבי יוסי והלא כל השופרות נקראו קרן שנאמר במשך בקרן היובל. במשוך בקרן
Without
היובל.
getting into the Gemara, of course, pulls this apart in three different directions. We'll see that soon when we get to the what's it called, the flow charts. But for now, in the fingling, so we have this machloket between whether or not you can use the keren of the para, right? You have the Tanakama who said that you may not chutz mishel para. And Rabbi Yossi says kol hashofar nikru keren, and so he says that the para. Sorry. This is annoying. In the fingling, I'll finish my sentence. You can bring up all sorts of pictures. We will get there. Here we go. You can bring up all sorts of pictures and then add tags. So how many kids will be able to identify what animals these are? I'm not totally sure. Right? You have here a variety of an ox, and you have here an aisle. So Elisha, if you want, if you could, Johnny, we said now that if she wants to play with it,
I can't do anything. I can do it with the link.
Screen, right?
Yeah, so I just sent the link in the chat.
So you open up,
and I'm also going to send you the free login info. So you don't need to worry about making your account right now.
I'm on it already. Which animal was using a K instead?
Right, exactly. So basically what you can do is you can add however many little pictures you want like this, and these little dots and whatnot, and they give you all sorts of different ways to do it. You can add new pictures and new ideas, and you can have the kids look. From here you can go. For example, if you look at D, you can get to a video on YouTube. Here's an example where you can get a link to the pasuk in Yericho because there's shofar there. Here you have a thought or a mesima, right, and a thought question, a link to a source about shofar in general. Another option that you can do with this also, excuse me, is you can have the kids talk to each other. You have a comment box at the bottom. So you have the kids write in and they get all kinds of comments and they can share what they're saying one to each other. Now, just to show you how incredibly easy it is to make it, you see up here, if you're looking at my screen, you see create, and you could just basically, it shows you that you can choose a picture. You see upload images. Once you've uploaded the image, by the way, you see at the bottom of my screen, there's available tutorials. Mm-hmm. It's literally a 3-minute tutorial to watch about creating image tagging. What I'm showing you right now is image tagging, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The only thing I know how to do here is image tagging. So it's extremely easy. Basically, what you do is that you upload your picture, you put a little dot on it, you can put a mesima, you can put a thought question, you can put whatever you want. You upload it, you send the kids the link to it, and you've got it. It's extremely easy.
You can also link to like a Google form or a different type of activity if you want this to kind of be an all-in-one worksheet.
Right. And then the Google form, you use Google Forms, Elisheva?
All the time.
Okay. So then obviously then you have all the answers there and etc. Again, this is a very, very, very basic example. You have the aisle and you have the ox, the shore here, and in theory we're going to see, we can't really look and see the biological difference. And part of the reason is that when you look at the ox, I don't know about you, but I don't start thinking about the egel hazahav, which of course is the enkategor nasa sanegar. But it does get the kids to think about where what the Gemara is, what the world that the Gemara was thinking about. It gets them a little bit their heads out of the classroom. One other thing that you can do with it is that you can have a classroom account, and then the kids can be involved, and the kids can make their own also, because it is so incredibly easy. You can give an assignment, after you learn a little bit of a sugya, and you tell the kids, everybody go and choose a picture, and they have to put 3 or 4 different little things about you. They could be that they, what the different deot on this picture were. It could be there's a machloket between, I don't know, if you bring in a farshim, you can bring that they have to bring the psikaf from Shulchan Aruch, whatever it might be, that can somehow that they can use the picture to express themselves even further. And again, it can be with links to videos, links to other websites. So it's extraordinarily easy to create, and I think has a lot of potential in terms of just getting the kids to think out of the box. Anything you want to ask or comment about this?
They can't answer on the circles themselves, right? They have to answer in the comment.
Right. You either answer in the comment box below, or in a circle you can also have a link to your Google form. So they would jump back and forth between the two. Okay.
Cool.
If you want to use the account that I put in the chat, it's also on that link that I sent you. You can use that to make 3 free ones, and then if you find you like it, you just ask your school to pay for an account.
It's so easy.
So easy to get that done.
Okay, so in the spirit of moving along, just because we are running out of time because of the way that we ran this particular one, so we're going to go now to the next. Okay, so we saw the thing link. The next thing, and this is really the ikar of what I wanted to do tonight, And you had already said last week that you use a lot of Tarshimei Zrima. Do you have a particular website that you use for that?
I did, but I cannot remember it for the life of me right now. It was not what the mine. It's not the one.
Okay, fine. So I will just give you
I can't remember what it was.
a 1 or 2 sentence background to when I started teaching Gemara. I don't know, I guess about 20 years ago. I was, Rav Sabato, not the author, the one from Yitzhak.
I not personally, but yeah.
Okay, so he at the time was
he
coming
was
up.
the one who taught in Bar Ilan, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know each other from Bailan?
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, so he was then creating all kinds of. He wasn't yet doing it online, but he was doing a lot of work with what's it called?
Oh, mind map.
Okay.
I think that's what I. Okay, but yeah, sorry.
So that's fine. So I got into the idea of doing flowcharts, and I found myself making flowcharts for any sugya and making up in a Word document. And you can have the kids relate to it. You can have the kids work in the chavruta, whatever, with the Word document, and that's all good enough. And obviously, if you put it into a Google Doc, you can also play with it.
Right.
However, there's also additional things we're going to see in our Mind Domo. So this is for our sugya of Ein Kategor. This is also where what you're seeing now, by the way, is the free version. There's obviously, as you see up here in the green, all kinds of upgrades.
Right.
You can be able to add more things. So this is basic. As you see, there's a basic flow to things. You have start with the Mishnah, then I moved over to show the different. There's the Hezber of Abaye, which we're not going to focus on, and there's the Hezber Amachlok Lefi Hezber Harishon Shalagma, which we're not going to focus on, and then there's Ein Kategor Nasa Senegar. So the very first thing you see is obviously the flow of the Gemara is laid out as any other flow chart would be. The advantages here are, for example, here. I put in more, nothing that was so incredibly inspiring, but just to show an example of here we have a YouTube video of Shofar Blast. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Oh, sorry. No, not that. Sorry.
Oh, it's the one 2 over from that.
Yeah. Johnny, how do you do it so flawlessly?
Not flawlessly.
Okay, fine. So here's fine. So that was more again just to show kind of gimmicky. But they also have, on the sidebar, this is where you add things. We'll go back to creating it in a second. Here we have just a regular old icon that they have as an option. So I put that in because Ein Kategor Nasa Sanegor. How do you make a thing like this? Extraordinary. Again, very, very simple. You do have to create your own basic account for free. And then when you go to their opening page, which is a link from here, I'm not going to go there right now, so it's not take time, but you go to create. And once you start creating, then you make these boxes. Each box has a link inside of it, where you can then insert your next ones, your subtopic, another topic that you want to be a stronger, a more bullet, a floating topic. I'll show you how that works in a second, or a relationship between topics. So for example, here I've created a relationship. I want to show that this comes out of here. Obviously, as you see, you can type in Hebrew and it actually corrects for the Hebrew direction, which is impressive. I'd left a few blank at the bottom, thinking if we had more time that we could fill it in together and you could get a sense of that. I don't know if we're going to have too much time for it. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to show you. So, and then
floating one?
The floating one.
So
here,
it doesn't have an arrow to it?
Right, so floating, exactly. So floating one, for example, here, if I just go here and ask for a floating one, so then it just gives me a floating one. And
right.
you can put that floating one. The advantage to a floating one is that you're much more free to put it wherever you want on the screen. And then you can just draw an arrow. So if I go back to here.
The blue and the green?
You can play with the colors.
Okay.
The blue, well, you'll see, because I'm still working on this guy, you want to know what I'm going to do with it, so it gets the blue around it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Shani, why is this one still, because you added it, right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because you can collaborate on these, so if different people add them, they show up in different colors.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so for example, if you have, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, all blue.
I could add to it also now, technically?
Technically, right now, the screen that we're looking at.
No, not the screen that we're looking at, but if I had the link, I could add to it.
Yeah, I sent the link and the login info. You need to log in just to add to it, but you could add to it right now, yeah.
I mean, I don't feel the burning desire, but that's really cool too.
Theoretically.
Other things which I just want to show you, which are significant here, next to our little guy over here, you have a comment box. There we go. So I wrote, Hezber Machlok Lefiula Ein Kategor Nasa Sanegor. So then I wrote here, what could this concept mean to you in your life? Right? Ein Kategor Nasa Sanegor means whatever it means for the Kohen going into the Kodesh HaKadashim. But what does that mean if two friends are having a dispute or whatever it is? how could they relate to in category nasa senig? What does that mean in terms of the way they relate to each other or something like that? So what you do for that is that you come over to the notes, and so that was there. But if I wanted to do it over here, if I want to do it on a different piece, on this guy, I just go there, and now I can put a note. What does this mean to you? Okay, and then it's right there. It's right next to it, and then the kids can write in. Okay, they can respond to that question. On the sidebar here, you've got, so you can, this is where you add your links. And basically, you go into your flow. Let's take this one. I'm sorry that I'm doing this so quickly. It's just that I know that our time is limited here.
I think we have 5 minutes.
If you go into the floating topic, so I can just go straight to my add hyperlinks, whether it's a, here you can add your a YouTube, a link to something else. Here you've got multimedia. This is the multimedia with the YouTube. They have here also, in this little, this is their little Mindomo icon. So here they've got tons of icons. And even for the free version,
You can still tap.
you can just throw these in wherever they fit into your particular thing. And of course, what I would love to do here is to have the kids, you could do it in various ways. You could create various parts of it and then say to different groups of kids, fill in different amounts of it. You could have the different kids fill in an amount and then have to add a comment box to what they did and ask for feedback. You can ask the kids to create each one their own. So basically, you can really do lots of different stuff to have the kids interact, different chavrutot working on it together.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, as I said last time, what I would love to see is to be able to use EdTech in a way that really strengthens the way that I want to teach Gemara anyway. Right?
Right.
If EdTech is going to make me become...
This is what I draw on the board, so...
Right, so if this is the kind, if this is the way I want the kids to think, so I'm going to present this and get them to think about it, and they'll play with it somewhere, but then they can also continue to expand by looking for an icon, by finding a video, and all these various things which make them, so then they're using the concept of the Tarshin Zrima that we want to use anyway, and then they're working outside of the box by having to, if you say to them, add one video, add one picture, whatever it might be, to just expand the way they're thinking about it.
Got it.
Okay, so, wow, Shani, we did it. So there are two, all we did is that, Bigadol, Elisheva, this is a horrible example of pedagogy, because what I would have wanted to do was to have you load up your own pictures and whatnot. But just to quickly review what we saw. So we saw the two videos, two websites. We saw ThingLink. ThingLink, again, is to find pictures and then to add all kinds of little gizmos onto the picture that allow the kids to go on thinking questions. We saw various things like that, and then we saw Mindomo, which is one. The truth of the matter is,
yeah, but on the mind map that I used, it wasn't Shitufi. Like you couldn't have other people log in and work on it with you, and I definitely like this a lot better.
Yeah, so
it's a big advantage.
And I will tell you, by the way, I don't wish technical problems, but I do know that when Madar and I originally started working with Mindomo, we had something crash. And she was on the service that she got was tremendous. Like people were very quick and very responsive, and they rebuilt it with her, and so it was very positive experience for her in that way.
All right.
Last thing before the time runs out, I do just want to go back to here for the sake of Jets. Do you know Jets in general, Elisheva? You found it through a website? How'd you find Jets?
Through my mom.
Okay, that's
Look-a-Scene update.
Okay, so JETS is overall an organization which provides professional development of Jewish education tech teaching. And there's I would call it the most basic course that they offer is called No Teacher Left Behind. I don't know if basic is the right word, but it introduces you to a plethora of sources, of websites and tools that can introduce you into how to expand your already existing repertoire of teaching online and teaching, not teaching online, but teaching with EdTech tools. As you see here, next course is going to start after Sukkot. So you are more than welcome to look into that. I'll just take a minute, I suppose, because I see that we now have just under 2 minutes plus left. So if I quickly just scan through the things that we saw last year.
Can I ask you a quick question?
But please, I'd rather you ask them. Yeah.
Do you use, or in your school, do you guys use Mishnah Brura or Gemara Brura, the website?
Right, and I think I know what you're talking about. Gemara Brura, I get a lot of emails from them and stuff. I have not really used it because I find that it sets up the Gemara very, very well. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. You mean Gemara Brura, which is to highlight text and whatnot. Is that the Gemara Brura referring to?
I think you can highlight, you can build flow charts, you can look up words, they have the munachim inside, it's like you buy it. Right.
Okay, so now I for a second I was thinking of something else. Right, okay, so I myself have not used Gemara Brura. I have looked around Gemara Brura a little bit. I think probably when I did look at it, I was put off because was not interested in buying it, and I probably didn't think that I would succeed in convincing someone to buy it. So I have not used it. I can't really comment. I have heard of it, and I went through it once, but not extensively. Have you tried it?
I tried the Mishnah Berurah and I didn't like it so much. Gemara Berurah, we just didn't end up buying it for the school.
The school does have Mishnah Berurah, though?
We had it last year, but we didn't really use it that much, so we didn't buy it this year. But this year they made Gemara Berurah also for high school. Last year was only Chativat Beinaim. This year they did it high school, but we just chose not to buy it because we weren't super impressed with the Mishnah. I was wondering if you had experience.
I would say that with all of these
warning.
things, the absolute most important thing for all of these things is that if you have a significant group of teachers who are interested in learning it together, if you're going to have, just Elisheva, running ahead of the crowd and looking for new things, so it might not stick.
No, we have a Malish Talmud on it. We got it. We weren't super impressed with the Mishnah stuff. I wasn't sure if you tried that.
Well, I will tell you, Smadar, who is the head of JETS, actually lives in Yerushalayim. And, if you get in touch with her through No Teacher Left Behind or other things, she would, I'm sure, be very glad to get in touch with Evelina and find out how she can help facilitate things in the school.
Okay, perfect.
And again, if you want to be in touch with me, I'm sorry it was so quick tonight. But
thank you for being such a good sport.
And we got to see those two. And I really would be very glad to be in touch with you. Shani will put out my email. We can work together on the mind mapping or the thing links or any other.